people didn't get up today. Okay?
That's true.
Unity of Columbus welcomes you on this first Sunday of the new year and a new decade. And we invite you to join with us in the White Stone Service ceremony, a very special ceremony of unity, a spiritual practice that builds upon the work of the Burning Bowl service, where you release and you let go. Now it's time to let the new happen. Unity teaches that through the practices of denials and affirmations, that means what we say yes to, what we say no to, through the power of spirit within us, we become conquerors, overcoming the trials, tribulations, and challenges of the human experience. And there are many, as we could all attest this morning. Metaphysically, the color white of the white stone represents joy and purification. And in this white stone or purified state of consciousness, meaning of awareness, of what we're aware of, we know that the Father and I are one. You know that. And remembering the words, I am that I am, all capital, that was spoken to Moses when he asked, whom shall I say has sent me? Okay? And we open ourselves to the realization of our new name, an entirely new realization of our true self, when we say, I am. It's like saying, I will. I've titled my White Stone service message this morning, A Stone of Hope. And if that sounds familiar, you'll know in a minute. I borrowed that from the powerful, inspiring, and timeless words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, I have a dream. And in that speech he wrote, out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. That's why we're all sitting here this morning. Our key scripture this morning is from the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 7. Let anyone who has an ear to what the Spirit is saying to the churches, to everyone who conquers, meaning who overcomes, I will give some of the hidden manna, and I will give a white stone. And on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. And so the white stone in our scripture today carries a new name, the spiritual identity, a deeper awareness of what God has planned for you and for me. No one in the entire universe except you and me and God knows what this new name is. But it has come in you and in me. It has come to be expressed, to be embodied. It is what God is calling you and me to be or to do. It's a whisper from our soul that you and I are so much more than we have ever let come into expression. We all are. And so I invite you to prepare for a transformative experience that you will not forget. So come along, my dear companions on the journey, and join in. I want to begin with, there's a story about two friends who were walking through the desert, and during some point of the journey, they got into an argument, and one friend slapped the other one in the face. Excuse me, my friend gonna slap me? The one who got slapped was hurt, but without saying anything, he wrote in the sand, today, my best friend slapped me in the face. And they kept on walking until they found an oasis where they decided to take a bath. And the one who had been slapped got stuck in the mire and started drowning. But the friend saved him. And after he recovered from the near drowning, he wrote on a stone, today, my best friend saved my life. And the friend who had slapped and saved his best friend asked him, after I hurt you, you wrote in the sand, and now you write on a stone. Why? And the other friend replied, when someone hurts us, we should write it down in sand where the winds of forgiveness can erase it away. But when someone does something good for us, we must engrave it in stone where no wind can ever erase it. Poignant story. Last Sunday during the burning bowl service, we placed our shortcomings and disappointments in the blazing fireplace over there in Wilson Hall. And now this Sunday, we will carve our blessings into stone in a white stone ceremony. The white stone represents a new beginning for each one of us, the opportunity to live life in a new way, to dig deep within ourselves, to discover a new quality and new essence. We all know we're more than what we're showing out here. This gives us an opportunity to dig deeper. And so this morning, I will invite you to listen to the new name, new direction, new way of life that your inner being is calling you to live. What's in a name? Well, according to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, that which we call a rose by any other name would spell as sweet. Or from Gertrude Stein's Sacred Emily poem, a rose is a rose is a rose is a rose. I think that what these writers are suggesting is that what matters most is what something is, not its name. Now don't get me wrong, names are important. For instance, every name in the Bible, in case you didn't know this, has an inner or metaphysical meaning. Bethlehem means house of bread, house of substance. And a person's name represents their character or an aspect of their personality, or something that they're going to accomplish in their lifetime. In unity, each disciple represents one of our 12 gifts from God. Peter, faith, and Andrew, strength, and John, love, and so on. A name change is also significant. In the scriptures, when a person's name changes, it represents an increase in awareness, in consciousness. And some of you from your Sunday school days, you may remember the biblical character known as Saul. Remember that? Saul? Who persecuted early Christians until he was struck blind for 3 days. Well, he had a lot to think about, didn't he? During this time of blindness, Saul did a lot of soul searching. And the book of Acts 22:7 reads, and I fell into the ground and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And I answered, who art thou, Lord? And he said unto me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom thou persecutest. And according to the story, Saul had what we would call an awakening, an aha moment. And he went from torturing Christians to becoming one of them. God gave him a new name at the time of his awakening. And so Saul, which means personal will, you know, I'll do it my way, was transformed to Paul, which means enlightened will. Well, maybe I'll try it God's way. So why all this talk about names? It's because we're celebrating this morning the white stone ceremony. The white stone ceremony is going to give us all the opportunity to hear the spiritual name that Spirit wants you and I to have for 2020. The white stone ceremony is over 2,000 years old. And in the ancient world, when a prisoner was released, he was often given a white stone to symbolize his freedom and to prove to all that he was finally free. A new name was written on that stone to symbolize his new intentions, new opportunities, and new experiences to come. And as long as he kept his white stone, he was reminded and reassured of his newfound freedom. For you and I today, the white stone is a symbol of overcoming inner and outer challenges and limitations. Every time we overcome some negative in our lives, we have a corresponding shift in consciousness, meaning in awareness. And we grow, we change, we evolve, even though you think you're just still sitting here and not making any progress. But we grow, we change, we evolve, and our lives become much richer because we're finally free from some of our mental bondage. And we discover that we're nourished and blessed by new opportunities and possibilities that suddenly seem to appear all around us because we've discovered a new level of spiritual freedom within. And then we too can echo even more of Dr. King's inspiring words when he triumphantly proclaimed, "Free at last, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last." And if you've ever overcome something, you feel that inside. It's done. A white stone ceremony is about starting off the new year with a clean slate, a tabula rasa, if you will. And it follows the burning bowl service, as I said, perfectly. And a burning bowl service is a service of releasing and letting go of the past so that we can enter the new year with a fresh start, a clean slate. Don't we all want that? Just wipe it all away. I want to start again. Well, historically, during the time of the Roman Empire, when a person was released from prison, they were given a white stone. And they were to carry that stone with them everywhere they went. Because everybody knew that if you had the white stone with you, not only were you free, but you had a clean slate. You were able to begin anew. Carrying the stone also gave you all the benefits of being a Roman citizen, which meant the Roman army protected you. And in those days, this was no small thing. Sort of like our Social Security ID or our driver's license ID. You know, you got to have that to do some sort of important business. This morning, we're using the white stone. And may I have a white stone there too? I have in my notes to show it, okay? So it'd be good if I had it, right? Here we go. To symbolize that we can leave behind whatever personal prisons we may have created for ourselves. And so this ceremony is an opportunity for us to start the year fresh with no personal baggage. And wouldn't we all like that? Just to start again, and of course to know better, so we don't do the same thing again. Okay. Now, you might be asking yourself, what are my personal prisons that I've locked myself into? You ever thought about that? During a workshop, a man shared that his personal prison was the story he had made up about himself as he was growing up. And we all have them. And he said that he really believed his story was to be true. And this story became a way to justify who he was as a person and how he had come to be that way. He said that he was the adult child of alcoholic parents and that he had learned to play the role of victim for much of his adult life. In other words, he blamed his parents for his unhappiness. Now, while each of our stories are important, we are so much more than our stories. That was then. This is now. And each one of us has the opportunity to heal from our stories. We don't forget the stories. It's not that they didn't happen. We don't justify what happened to us as a result of our story. We don't do that. But we learn from our stories, and more importantly, we can move beyond our stories because whatever he, she, or they did to us is ours now. We own it. Whether we like it or not, we own it now. And what we do with it from this day forward is up to each one of us. We're not little helpless creatures out here. You and I have the power to choose to loose it and let it go, or to continue living our now present moments in self-imposed bondage. Jesus tells us in John 8:36, if the Son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. You believe that? You gotta act like it. And Paul tells us in Galatians 5:1, it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. This morning's main scripture is taken from Revelations 2:17 and deals with renewal, restoration, and a new understanding, a new name. Let anyone who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. To everyone who conquers, I will give some of the hidden manna, and I will give a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. It's for you, it's for me. Notice that the writer says, for those who conquer, meaning to everyone who conquers, who overcomes, who moves forward, who are moving forward with faith and overcoming the challenges they have in life. The ones who are moving forward and growing and seeking and being receptive to the highest and best. To those, a new name, a new way of being is given. In other words, a new sense of themselves is given. And so I ask you this morning, what are you overcoming or wanting to overcome? What aspect of your deepest self, the deepest part of you that won't leave you alone, that's seeking to emerge, to come forth at this time? You just know there's something else, but you don't exactly know what it is. We all know that there's more to us than meets the eye, so to speak. There's a divine potential within each one of us, a perfect you and a perfect me. It's who we really want to be, and it's just waiting to be born. And this is an opportunity for us to release our real self and to put our imagined ego self to rest. Okay? Just think about it. As you and I journey on this path of spiritual awakening, the white stone in each one of us is constantly being renewed and revitalized and redeemed. The white stone and the name written on it is a symbol of our personal spiritual growth, whereby we cancel out the old. It's a symbol of our discontinuing our old way of thinking and to put forever to an end our habit of forgetting what and whose we truly are. You know, we're spiritual beings having a human experience after all. That's the bottom line. And when we come home to Source, it's all over. We have so much peace, we don't know what to do with it. Ooh. And as this inner renewal takes place, we gain the knowledge of a new name within us. And more importantly, we gain a deeper understanding of that new name and where it might lead us. The new name, the new spiritual name, that is the true nature of our being, is the name that you and I know of as capital I, capital A-M. I am. I am. Exodus 3:14 says, and God said unto him, Moses, I am that I am. And he said, God said, thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. And you know, think about it. Only you and I can say I am for ourselves. We can't say it for anybody else. I was going to say that you all should have received a stone, but you haven't yet, okay? So we're going to pass out the stones, and then you will receive the stone and a small piece of paper, and you'll need a pen and a pencil. I was going to say, Darren, pass those out too. Are you ready for this?
I am.
You are. All right. I am. Hey, she's got it. Now to live it. That's the challenging part. Wonderful. And when you get your paper and your stone and a marker to write on it, and And I notice you'll find with your stone that one side is a little flatter than others. And remember, this is just a symbol. Yeah. All right. And when you get your stone, I invite you to just hold it in your hand and feel it. That's kind of the way life feels. It feels kind of rough sometimes. It gets hot. It gets tough out there sometimes and rough. And just feel that stone. And see its beauty too. It's beautiful, white and shiny and sparkling. This stone represents a clean slate, a fresh beginning, no matter what 2019 was or still looks like. We've got a new visible way of looking at it. And in this ceremony, we're going to be writing down a new name for ourselves. God's love is like that, forever new and forever expanding. Revelations 21:5, behold, I, the Lord, make all things new. So no matter how hard you think things were or are, we got a promise from the Holy Bible. Behold, I make all things new. All things are possible with me. That's the promise. Now here's what's going to happen during the next few minutes. I'm going to lead us through a meditation, and all you need to do is listen with an open heart, an open mind. Say, well, maybe. Just be open. And I encourage you to consciously invite the activity of God, the Holy Spirit, into your heart and mind during the next few minutes. Maybe there's a new career for you, a new title, or a new quality. That Spirit is gently pressing out at you. Won't give you any peace about it. You just keep having this nagging feeling that there's something you need to be doing. And so I'm asking you to give your ego a few minutes off, and just allow that divine holy self of you to come through. Just feel it. It'll feel a little thrill. You'll just feel a little happier, a little better. Give yourself permission to know that you have a new quality, a new name. There's more to you than you have ever dared dream. On some level within you, you know that. You may not have been able to prove it or to manifest it, but you know that there's more to you. And I've seen people over the years, when they write the word peace or love or joy, they take on a new essence of who they are. They just feel better. It affects you physically, mentally, and emotionally. And you carry the stone and the name in your heart, because you see, the promise is, whenever we ask, there's always an answer. The promise of Isaiah 65:24 is, and it shall come to pass, even before they call, and while they are yet speaking, I will answer. Now that's the Holy Bible, okay? Believe in the Bible. And so during this meditation, you'll be asking Spirit to tell you your spiritual name, and I'm just saying name, or direction, or identity that is uniquely yours for 2020. During this meditation, you will realize the truth of who you are, of what is trying to get expressed or get lived out in your life in a greater way. And I'll then invite you to write this name or phrase on your white stone with your marker, pen, or pencil, or on the piece of paper that you have. And now it'll be important for you not to use your will. Well, I've always wanted $1 million and my life is island. It's important not to use your will to come up with a name that you desire, but really be open. God, what is it that won't let me sleep at night? It keeps pressing at me and stressing me. What is it? What is mine to do? And it's usually best to go with what comes to you first, where you feel this is right. Maybe difficult, something to do or to accomplish, but it feels right. It feels like this is the way that I should go. And don't second guess or judge what name that you get, that you come up with, and you don't tell anybody else. This is your life. The reason you're here. And you don't want to second guess it because initially you may not understand why a particular name or phrase or word was given to you, or you thought, well, you know, this is a mistake. I'm going to have to do this again. No. Because at some point during the year 2020, it's going to become obvious why this was the word or phrase that you chose, or that chose you. Just allow yourself to trust the process. During one white stone ceremony, when I was in Unity of Charlotte, a woman received the word mom. She's like, uh-oh. She had no idea why, because she literally and physically was unable to give birth. But later that year, even though she didn't think about it at that time, through a unique set of circumstances, she adopted a child. She was thinking there was no way, you know. And so, if for whatever reason nothing definitive comes to you during the meditation, don't worry, be happy, you see. Take your white stone home and sit in meditation with the absolute certainty, because you're dealing with God now, that your name is going to be revealed, and it will be. Now let's prepare for a time of meditation with the meditation song underscored by Jim. And just prepare to relax as best as you can. The first Sunday of the new year, new name, new time, just kind of let everything go. You might want to take a deep breath or two. Say, here I am, God. I need help. Inside of us, every one of us is this quiet, secret place of the Most High. And if it feels comfortable to you, let your eyes close softly and gently. And as your eyes are closing, feel your body just begin to relax and let go incrementally. We are now being immersed in the presence of God, in the presence of light and love, and it's from this place that we now take part in the white stone ceremony. And I would invite you now to allow my words to silently become your words as you begin to meditate. Think about your new spiritual name. I am freeing myself to live more fully. I am conscious of the activity of spirit in every aspect of my life. I am releasing myself from the limitations of the past. I am releasing myself from old fears and self-doubts. God, help me, God. the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. The door is opening, and you and I are walking through into freedom. And see yourself being given a white stone that lets you know deep in your heart of hearts, you are now truly free. You have a new identity. This is a new year, a new day. The stone in your hand represents your freedom. Feel it. Feel the stone in your hand and know that it represents release. And it represents the freedom to express your truest self, your highest self. Now's the time to ask Spirit for your name, for your words, or phrase that describes the new you, your new life. What is the new name, new identity that comes to you? Now just relax and let this come easily. You don't have to try to think anything up or make it happen. It's already in your heart. Just allow it to come forth easily. Feel the stone in your hand and feel the inner spirit beckoning to you. Here is your new name. Here is your new vision of yourself. Here is what you are to accomplish at this point in your life. Here is what you are to embrace and demonstrate and live out. This is the name of your life for 2020. This is your new beginning. All things are possible. This is the new you. Spirit has decreed a name for you to write on your stone. Perhaps it's just an initial. Trust in this now moment as Spirit gives to you in that sacred place, in this moment of truth and insight into your divine purpose and insight into your holy essence. And so in that secret place of the Most High, I invite you to allow yourself to hear the new name, new direction, new essence that God has for you. And as that name, that idea becomes clear, just allow yourself to write it. It might be something like published author, or healer, or clean and sober, or a title, or gratefulness, or wholeness, whatever. Take a few moments now in the quiet as the music plays softly in the background. Meditate on your new name. Just let it come. And when you are ready, write your spiritual name for 2020 on your white stone or piece of paper. to yourself, imagine and feel the new power and purpose and direction that your new name, just this new essence and idea, the power, purpose, and direction that is now giving to your life. Just thinking about it. In the silence, in the silence, in the silence. And now let us allow ourselves to gently come out of this contemplative time, as Jim underscores so softly, in the stillness. Absolutely private. Or some people like to share their word with a trusted friend. Some like to exchange stones if they have a prayer partner. And this morning I want to offer some additional support to you from our prayer team. If you so choose, you can write your word or words only on the piece of paper given to you in your white stone. But please do not write your name on it. Just your word or phrase. Spirit knows who you are. And after the service is over, on your way out, you can put your piece of paper in the prayer box, where they will be prayed over for 30 days and then forwarded to Silent Unity at Unity Headquarters in Lee Summit, Missouri, where prayer is and has been going on for over 100 years, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And I know that for a fact, because I lived there 2 years. And your stone is to be taken home, where it will occupy a special place, or you may choose to carry it with you as a reminder every day that you have the gift of choice, the gift to live differently, to live a more fulfilling life, to begin again to connect with the source of your being and co-create your world being led by the creator of the universe. The gift to be all that Spirit is calling you and I to be. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:32. Accept this consciousness of ever-increasing good in your life. And I invite you to carry this white stone as a reminder of that promise. Happy New Year. And so it is. God bless us all.
This is right